Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the match preview for the FA Cup semi-final. Chelsea versus Man City. Wembley is calling again. All the build up to that game, all the latest Chelsea news in general. And a lot of stuff has been coming out. We've got team news. Enzo and Disasi back in training yesterday ahead of the weekend. Levi Colwell had targeted a return for this game, but is unfortunately not going to make it. We've got links with Jamal Musiala, links with Benjamin Sesko, links with Evan Ferguson as the transfer window draws closer, and Chelsea obviously looking for a striker, and there's names left, right and centre coming out today. I don't know if it's a slow news day or what it is, but yeah, links with Sesko, Musiala, Evan Ferguson, to name three. There's certainly a lot of stuff going on. Newcastle have sent scouts to watch Conor Gallagher, and they had one in attendance during our recent 4-3 win against Man United. We had another Arsenal bottle job last night in the Champions League. Fantastic news, although as much as that's great and we all loved it, City also out, and they played 120 minutes ahead of the semi-final, which, all right, it's not the be-all and end-all, doesn't mean we're going to win, but, that's certainly an advantage that we can try and use in our favour. Will certainly be fresher, so there's no reason for us not to be going there and taking the game to them. What it does mean, though, is that it's very unlikely that fifth place is going to count as a Champions League place. It actually almost certainly won't. So if we are going to qualify for the Europa League, we have to finish sixth. And if we want any form of European football next season, then we have to finish at least seventh, and we've got tough games coming up still. So that is not a given by any stretch of the imagination. But big up to everyone that's locked in slightly earlier than normal. I appreciate it. Keep smashing the likes. Subscribe if you're new around here. We're 12 subscribers away from 8.5k, guys. So if you're locked in now and you're not subscribed, make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. And let's get to 8.5k as quickly as possible. But yeah, big yourselves up, guys. Let's say hello to a few people. We must beat them. Yes, agreed. Can we have a moment to laugh at Arsenal? Yep, Arsenal, champions of Europe. You'll never sing that. I can't wait to head to the Emirates on Tuesday night. Inflatable European Cup in hand and deliver the banter in person. Gonna be a great evening. Even if we don't win, we're gonna have a great time doing it. Would you send Enzo to get surgery for the hernia? Yes, I would, because it's a persistent problem. He's been playing through pain-killing injections and that's just going to lead to more problems in the long term. If we can get to the end of the season, great, and he can have it in the summer. I know there's the Copa America and whatnot, but something's got to give. And, for me personally, if it means him missing the last 6 games of the season, as big a blur as it would be to us, let's just get that done so that this doesn't become a bigger problem than it is currently. City will be tired. They will be, but, they're professional athletes. They've gone for trebles in the past. Obviously not going to happen this season, but they know what it's like to have a lot of games in a quick space of time. Haaland done nothing last night. He didn't, but again, like this narrative that I'm seeing around Erling Haaland is ridiculous in my opinion, because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, right, okay, he's had a couple of quiet games against Real Madrid. First of all, not a lot of service to him. Secondly, people saying, he should be more involved in the build-up play. That's not what Haaland's in the team for. Haaland's in the team as a penalty box striker to finish when the ball drops to him. You don't want him dropping deeps like Harry Kane does, setting up goals and then not being in the box when he's most needed. By all means, write Haaland off at your own peril. He's joint top goal scorer in the Premier League this season. Yeah, he's had a few difficult games and he's struggled more than he did last season, which was always going to be the case. But he's very much still the best goal scorer in the league. Simple as that. I know we've got Cole Palmer as well, but yeah, Haaland is by no means finished. We need to win the FA Cup to get Europe now. I mean, look, I think it's fair to say that that's still going to be our best option, given the fixtures we've got left. But yeah, I think we can get Europe, but I just don't know what form of Europe it's going to be, and I don't know how we're going to do it. Whether we're going to do it through the cup or whether we're going to do it through the league. Please, not the Conference League. Thursday nights away in Luxembourg. How the mighty have fallen. Well, yeah. Look, I'll be real. On the Conference League, I would much prefer us to be in it than not in it, purely based on the fact that we need games. We need games. The more games we can play, the more minutes these players can get, the more we can develop and gel as a team. Yes, it's not where we want to be, but at the end of the day, anything that stops us playing once a week, I'm all for it. Yes, I am indeed wearing an Al Hilal jersey. Unfortunately, yeah, the old Saudi top, Neymar had to be, had to be done. Lost our unbeaten streak the other night. So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm wearing an Al Hilal jersey. Anyone criticizing Haaland doesn't know football, is a specialist. Yeah, for sure. Yes, big up. The players should give everything on Saturday. Our last hope this season as a club. Yeah, absolutely. I've got no reason why, to coin a Graham Potter phrase, the boys won't give everything. Why? There's no reason why they wouldn't. So yeah, let's see what we can do, people. Let's see what we can do. But let's dive into it then. Before we get into the game, let's go through some transfer news, because there's nothing we love more at Chelsea or as Chelsea fans than transfer news. Now, let's start with Jamal Musiala. He was obviously at Chelsea as a young boy. There was nothing we could do to keep him. He decided that he wanted to go to Germany. Went to Munich, went to the academy there, or whatever. He's developed into a superb footballer. He's been strongly linked with a move to Manchester City this summer. His contract at Bayern Munich, I think, expires in 2025 or 2026. No new talks have reportedly got underway yet, although Bayern are obviously very keen to keep him on board. Him and Wirtz are like going to be the new poster boys of German football. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, Chelsea monitoring the situation with Musiala. Now, I think on this, yeah, of course, it would be great to sign Jamal Musiala. Let's make no mistake about it. I mean, let's see if the article goes into any more details, but it would be brilliant. My thing is, right, with signings that we're going to make in the summer, and particularly in the attacking positions, we know that we need a centre forward, right? Musiala is not a centre forward; he's an attacking midfield player. If he were to come in, and if we were to genuinely pursue Musiala's signature, then someone has to leave, because there's not space for Mudryk, Madueke, Palmer, Nkunku. Madueke, Mudryk. There's not space for all these guys. Sterling. There's not space for all these guys, and then Musiala as well. Someone would have to leave in order for Musiala to come in. Now, of course, if you're presented with the opportunity, or it becomes possible that it might be available to sign a player of Musiala's talents, then of course you don't pass up on something like that. But we have got to make sure that we're not stockpiling, and we have to make sure that we actually make space for him in the squad. Because right now I'm not seeing where the space is unless someone leaves. And then how do we develop what we've already got? At some point, we're going to have to stop buying players and focus on developing what we've already bought, and try and make sure that those players reach the potential that we believe they can, rather than just constantly adding. Obviously, what was Jacob Steinberg say in this? He obviously left Chelsea 5 years ago. Guardiola is obviously a big fan of him, looking to bring him to Manchester City this summer. I mean, at the moment, there's no indications that he's leaning towards wanting a new challenge. City have got advanced interest. Chelsea also monitoring the situation. And obviously, he opted to play for Germany instead of England. We know that. He came through the academy. And his departure was partly down to concerns over a lack of opportunities. He did leave as a very young boy. So I'm not really sure what this lie of the land was and the situation was with Chelsea at the point in time that he did. But, Chelsea and Jamal Musiala, it's one of those that would be a very, very exciting signing. My issue is that, one, if you're in a race with Man City, for me personally, Man City or Chelsea, you're probably going to go and join Man City. As much as that pains me to say it, you probably are going to go and join Man City. That's just the reality of the situation right now. I'm not sure if Musiala, we're looking at Chelsea and thinking, right, am I going to swap Bayern Munich this summer to go and play in the Conference League next season, or not play any European football at all? This is something we've got to realise. We can't just solely rely on the project. At some point, we have to show that we're making some sort of progress as a club, and not just rely on, we're going to be good in a few years. Come with us, and it will be great. Look, if we're being brutally honest, we can have interesting players. We're all interested in stuff ourselves. Doesn't mean that any of it's likely to happen. I don't see us getting involved in a transfer saga with City over Musiala again. And there's been no concrete indications from the player himself that he'd be looking to leave Munich this summer. Although the longer he doesn't sign a new contract, then the more that this speculation is, of course, going to heat up. City also linked with Lucas Paqueta, who I think is a exceptional footballer at West Ham. Yes, big up, Wes, big up. Watched him yesterday, he was good. Yeah, Musiala was good yesterday. Oh, no, I agree, it's unlikely to happen. Is he that good? So many players are overrated these days. No, Musiala is a very, very talented boy. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt about it. What else have we got going on here? I mean, the swap deals never happen. That just simply isn't going to happen. Gallagher will be sold pure profit merchants at the will. The longer this Gallagher thing goes on, we're going to get into it a bit later. I agree. There were talks recently about the owners wanting a big signing, and some of the owners have always wanted a big signing. I mean, they've talked about trying to get a marquee signing sort of the whole time they've been here. I mean, reportedly, Sterling was going to be that signing. Was meant to be a marquee signing. I mean, that's been anything but marquee. If Chelsea, we need a clinical striker and a centre back. Look, clinical striker for sure. They're just very difficult to find. Very, very difficult to find. Yes, big up, Jesters. Look, Musiala, yes, is a kid, but I think he'd be, if he were to come, this is a big if in a hypothetical situation, he is more than just a kid. He's a lot more proven than, a lot of our younger signings that we've made recently. He's certainly more proven. But I agree. We do need to look at adding some leadership and adding, a little bit more experience. Musiala, despite his age, does have experience. Has he got the leadership qualities we're looking for? Is he the type of player that we desperately need to add? He right now, as a Chelsea fan, I've been looking at something like this and thinking, this is a luxury that right now isn't a priority for us to fill. However, as I said, on the flip side, if this opportunity were to genuinely present itself, then there are some players, regardless of your situation, that sometimes you just have to do what it takes to bring them to the club. I do think that Musiala would fall into that category. My issue, as I was saying earlier, is someone has to leave. Where does he fit in? Are we upsetting the balance? At what point are we going to focus on developing the players we've brought in rather than just constantly adding? That's my issue with all this. There's some kids that are majorly talented, though. Yeah, of course. There absolutely is. And look, Bellingham for sure. Would I include Musiala in the same bracket as Bellingham? I think Bellingham maybe is a bit more talented, but certainly in terms of ability and what they're doing, they're very, very close for sure. Palmer as well. Prefer to keep Pochettino next season. Let's see how he finishes. We've already got in Kunku, so we don't really need him. I also agree on that front. I don't see how there's a space for him unless someone leaves. And I don't know if anyone is going to be leaving this summer from those attacking positions. Yes, we'd love to get rid of Raheem Sterling. Is that going to happen? I think not. They've got Carney as well. Yep, again, I think there's a lot of talent with him. This is what I mean. There's just so many players we've got at the moment that if we're adding more players to the same position, we're just never going to actually allow what we've got to develop into a decent team. Musiala, I've got no doubt, will return to the Premier League at some stage in his career. 100%. 3 veteran signings would be, Tony for me, I'm unanimous on Ivan Toney. That is the guy that we should be going all out to get this summer. I don't feel we will, but that is absolutely the guy that we should be going all out to sign this summer. Absolutely no doubt about it. Ward-Prowse having just gone to West Ham and that there's experience in the midfield. I'm not a huge fan of Ward-Prowse, but there's no doubt that, he's got ability, set pieces, etc., can do a solid job. Lewis Dunk's done well for Brighton. I think at international level, he's he's probably not quite good enough. But as an experienced option, I mean, it wouldn't be a complete disaster, but it's probably not who I would personally go for. Should Carney start in the FA Cup semi-final? We're going to get into that. It's an interesting conversation. Which centre-back would you want to replace Silva, or would you stick with who we have? I mean, look, Silva goes at the end of the season. That leaves us with what? Wesley Fofana, Chalobah, Colwell, Disasi, Badiashile. It's widely expected Chalobah will leave. That leaves us Disasi, Colwell, Fofana, Badiashile. I don't see any reason why we need to sign another centre-back personally. I'd be looking at keeping Trevor Chalobah because, let's be real, he's no worse than Disasi is, in my opinion. And if he wasn't from the academy, Chelsea would not be looking to sell him. The reality is that Chelsea are looking to sell half these players for nothing to do with footballing reasons. We know this. We absolutely know this. Look, at the end of the day, like, if I don't care if Tony's a Liverpool fan, I don't care if he said that he likes Arsenal. You know, if players join, it's because they want to join. At the end of the day, they're happy to join. A lot of players that play for clubs are not fans of those teams, or those clubs might not have been their first choice. But for me, at the end of the day, as long as whoever comes gives, gives 100% for the club during their time here, and every time they step out on the pitch, I don't have an issue with it. Badiashile, I think, is being written off a bit too prematurely. He struggled this season. You know, he's not had the minutes that he had last season. He's obviously recovered from a long-term injury. I think there's potential there, and for him to be a good player. Disasi, I think, you know, is a decent level. I don't think it's been anywhere near as bad as a lot of people think he has been. But yeah, I don't envisage a Koulibaly-like situation where Disasi's moved on this summer. I think Pochettino likes him, his height, his physicality. And that there's a role for him to play. Is he when everyone's fit? Is he part of Chelsea's best centre-back pairing? In my opinion, no, he's not. I think we're going to lose the City. Let's wait and see what happens. Really wish we didn't get rid of Maatsen. Well, look, again, if Maatsen carries on doing what he's doing for Dortmund, I'd love us to have a rethink on that. But I just don't see how that happens right now, which is a real shame. A real shame, because he's exactly the sort of player that we would be looking at bringing in this summer. Talented, young, left back, a lot of potential upside. And if we didn't have him, we would 100% be looking to bring him in. There's absolutely no doubt about that in my mind. Far too much noise for us not to sign one of the Benfica Sporting centre-backs. Yeah, again, I think there's Antonio Silva is the Benfica one, and I haven't been linked as much with him. There's the other one, Ousmane Diamonde, who we've been more strongly linked with. But again, another 19 or 20-year-old centre-back. What if Diamonde was to come in, and it would be big money, by the way, as well. You've got Disasi is the oldest centre-back at 25, 26. You've got Chalobah, and you've got Badiashile, Colwell, and this Diamonde, none of them older than 22, 23 years of age. I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense. At some point, you know, there needs to be a deviation away from the strategy. Just take a little diversion. You know, the end destination is still the same. Just take a little diversion and move from there, because we have to add some leadership to this team. The last thing we need is more young, inexperienced players coming into this football club that might be good in a few years' time. I'm sick of it. As I've said many times, at the end of the day, if we're going to carry on down this route, I'd rather we sign no one this summer and just continue with what we've got. Get everyone fit. If we're just going to sign more kids and not bring in the leadership that we require, then I'd rather us not spend anything. What do I think about Matthias Sula? What, the Juventus midfielder is he? The one that was linked with the move to Al Ittihad in the Saudi Pro League. I'll be real. I haven't watched an awful lot of him, but again, there's clearly talent there. And yeah, let's see how he develops. Maatsen could win UCL. My thing with Ian Maatsen is clear talent, right? And again, would he make it at Chelsea? I don't know the answer to that. But my biggest issue is the fact that we never gave him a proper go. That's my thing. I get it if Pochettino values height and whatnot, but my thing is that this guy was never actually given a proper go to show what he could potentially do. Now he's gone somewhere where he's been trusted and he's been given a proper go and he's showing exactly what he can do. I wonder why he hasn't. Yeah, I don't get it. Few players coming back from loan. I'll be honest, Dancho Fofana is going to go out on loan again, in my opinion. I think Angelo will go on another loan, and I think Santos will go on loan again as well. Marquinhos, we've been linked with him a number of times before. Guys, we're only on 35 likes with 70 people in the building. That's poor. That's poor. Let's get this up to 50 likes as quickly as possible. Keep smashing that like button. Keep subscribing to the channel as well if you're new around here. But those likes need to be ramped up, guys. Thursday evening, FA Cup settings, transfer talk. Big up to everyone that's locked in. But yeah, please do subscribe and please do hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. It's free, it takes seconds, and it massively, massively helps me out more than you could ever imagine. Musiala would be a nonsense signing. I think nonsense signing is a bit strong, but I think it's one of those that, yeah, isn't necessary at this point in time. Again, Varane on a free. I don't hate it, but he's picking up a lot of injuries right now. And the last thing we need is an aging, injury-prone centre-back joining our ranks, in my opinion. Majority of the players mature around 23, peak 28 to 32. If we can get the youngsters challenging, it could go on for years. Well, yeah, I think that's clearly what the long-term plan is. And I could certainly see that happening to a degree. It's just dependent on how long is it going to take for us, to get to that point. That's the thing. Yes, big up, big up, big up. Come on, you Blues. I wouldn't say Varane's finished, but he's certainly more finished than he is not finished. Let's hope Madrid softened up City for the weekend. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, just to round out on that Musiala thing, if we were to accelerate our interest in him, I personally don't see how we can sign him and spend a fortune on a centre forward as well. So for me, I just think, yes, there might be interest there, but I just don't see how that really materialises into a concrete deal. And I also don't see how we beat Man City to his signature if they're genuinely interested as well. So let's move away from Jamal Musiala and let's go and talk about other forwards because we have also been linked today again. It's not the first time, but it's more concrete. RB Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko, the Slovenian forward. I think he was Slovakian. Slovenian or Slovakian, one of the two. Benjamin Sesko, 20 years age. His representatives have been guests at Chelsea this season and the club have been tracking him. He's got a £42.7 million release clause in his contract. He's only 20 years old. He's only had one season. This is his first season at RB Leipzig. He was at RB Salzburg in Austria. He's impressive. Look, he's 6'4". He's strong. He's mobile. He's a physical presence. He's obviously appealing because of the price. You're not going to get any sort of top striker for under £43 million this summer. It simply is not going to happen. My thing with Sesko, though, is like it is with everything. Why sign Sesko when you've already signed Nicholas Jackson, who is your guy that you're looking to develop as a young forward? We need someone to complement Jackson and for Jackson to learn upon, not to bring someone younger in than Nicholas Jackson. That's another 3 different options right now. And at the end of the day, for me, and I'll get onto Evan Ferguson later on, but if it's genuinely between Evan Ferguson and Sesko, then I am picking Sesko all day long. The release clause, Brighton, again, don't want to get involved in a transfer tussle with Brighton. Another one, yes, of course, Ferguson's got a bit of PL experience and the other one doesn't, but Sesko to me seems like sort of the type who would definitely be able to physically and athletically handle the league. But at the end of the day, if it is genuinely between Sesko and Ferguson potentially, or those are 2 of the options and Osimhen's the other one, then look, for me, Sesko and Ferguson, 2 young strikers, but at the moment, I'm genuinely not interested in signing another young striker. For me, it's either Ivan Toney, Victor Osimhen, or Victor Gyökeres, or it's no one. We stick with Nicholas Jackson for another season because there is no need for us to be adding another young striker to the team. It just doesn't make sense. I'm not interested in any other young striker coming in to take minutes off Jackson. It doesn't make sense. Again, look, Osimhen, it's gone a little bit quiet on things. I mean, people talk about Boniface again as an alternative. I like him. Can't see him moving in the summer. Alonso staying another season, and he's spent a lot of time out injured this season. For me, there's no way that Boniface will look to move on. Champions League football at Leverkusen next season, another season to bed in and develop. So yeah, for me personally, I just don't see a move for Victor Boniface happening. But young strikers, for me, what are we playing at? What are we playing at? It doesn't really make any sense in my mind. It really doesn't. What are we going to do with Sesko? Like, are we going to see sitting here thinking that Sesko is the guy? I understand the attractiveness to the release clause. I understand there's a huge potential upside there, but you've already signed someone that you believe's got a huge potential upside. And if you, at the end of the day, right, what we've got to look at here is, would we be interested in Benjamin Sesko if the release clause wasn't there? Would we be looking at Benjamin Sesko if we were having to pay 70, 80 million pounds to him, which is definitely what RB Leipzig 100% would be looking to demand for his signature? There's no doubt about that in my mind. What are you lot saying about Sesko in the chat? Let me hear what you were saying. I don't think Sesko's mid for me. I disagree on that. Not good for the Premier League. Isak, I spoke about this the other week. If you're going to spend £100 million on a striker, and I know Newcastle don't want to sell Alexander Isak, absolutely, and they're not I don't think they're in a position where they have to sell Isak. But if you're looking at dropping £100 million on a striker or more, you do it on Alexander Isak. The guy knows the Premier League, scores goals in the Premier League, 24 years of age, fits what we're looking to do, and there's considerably less downsides with Isak than there is with Osimhen. So if you're going to spend big money on a striker, for me this summer, if it's not going to be Ivan Toney, then it's bloody well got to be Alexander Isak. It has to be. And look, people can say that, Newcastle can say he's not for sale, but if £100 million genuinely arrives on the table, they might find it very difficult to turn that sort of money down. Of course, Isak will have a say whether he wants to stay or go. Newcastle could be playing European football next season, and we might not be. But yeah, honestly, for me, Isak would be a phenomenal choice. Not a fan of this. Rather go for a Pender. A Pender, different kind of striker. We need to be patient we would need to be patient with a young forward. This is exactly my point. Like, when's the penny going to drop with the people in charge that what we need right now is a ruthless penalty box striker? And all the names that we're being linked with are not really ruthless penalty box strikers. What we need, I know Haaland's unique, but we need someone like an Erling Haaland type that doesn't really get too involved in the build-up play, but he's in the box, and when the ball drops him in a goal-scoring position, 9 times out of 10, he's going to stick the ball in the back of the net. That is what we are missing. Possibly, again, Santiago Jimenez, another young striker, could be good in a few years. He's doing well, of course, but not for me, not the profile that we need. Do you think Nkunku and Jackson would work well together? I think there were signs of that in pre-season. I'd like to see that. Nkunku playing off Jackson in the 10, Palmer on the right, Mudryk on the left. That for me, I think is possibly a good option. Isak is clear of all of them, but he's injured. Yeah, look, again, the one downside is he is susceptible to picking up a few injuries. But yeah, I mean that for me is not a big enough reason to be not wanting to potentially sign him, because the potential upside on Isak is absolutely massive. And do you know what? For me personally, I mean, Lewandowski, I agree. Loads of stuff coming in, by the way, guys. He's got 13 goals in all competitions this season. He doesn't play all the time for Leipzig. No, Nico wasn't signed to be the main guy. Sesko's a decent deal for his release clause. I agree, but I'd be more than happy to sign Benjamin Sesko if we hadn't have already signed Nicholas Jackson. We don't need 2 young strikers. We just need the one. We've made our choice. And I look at Sesko, and I don't think he's of absolutely outstanding ability that we have to do whatever it takes to bring him in. I think Cole Palmer should be our striker because of the amount of goals he scored for us. Fair. Vlahovic hasn't been mentioned on the social in a minute. Where is he ending up? I think he's staying at Juventus, to be honest. I think it's all gone pretty quiet on the Vlahovic front. I think he's pretty happy in Turin. So I'd be surprised if he moved this summer. Gyökeres again, not sure about Sesko. For me, Nkunku best as a second striker / number 10, playing off the main man, whether that's Nicholas Jackson or whether that ends up being Ivan Toney, Victor Gyökeres, whoever it may be. Someone that can get 20 goals a season, that is absolutely what we need. In fairness, though, Nicholas Jackson's got 13 goals in all competitions this season. We're looking for someone to get 20 Premier League goals. There's very few of those around. Ivan Toney's proven that he can do that. Would Osimhen be able to do that? He's got the ability to, but how would he adapt to the Premier League? How would he adapt to Chelsea? Sesko potentially has got the ability to do it, but again, very much represents a gamble at this point in time. So these are just all things that are very, very difficult right now, guys. Very, very difficult. Go all out for Ivan Toney. I've been banging the Ivan Toney drum for so long. Holland and De Bruyne aren't injured, by the way. They were taken off because they were tired. They absolutely aren't injured. Just to clarify that. Again, Lautaro. He's been talked about before. I think he's been close to signing a new deal with Inter. I mean, it's not been confirmed or anything yet, but he has been close to signing a new deal with Inter Milan. Look, again, this is the annoying thing, right? Because if Lukaku's attitude wasn't so poor and he hadn't ruined things, he's exactly the sort of striker that we're looking for. But it's too much water under the bridge, as far as I'm concerned. I think a lot of Chelsea fans are concerned. And at the end of the day, he's got no interest, in my opinion, I think in a lot of people's opinion, of actually making amends at Chelsea and wanting to give it a go. Toney fits what we need. Absolutely agree. Why is everyone jumping on the bandwagon of Jackson is bad? He's not. Finishing could do with a bit of improving, but his overall play is very good. Hold-up play, link-up play. He provides an outlet. He runs the channels well. His awareness is getting better. He's providing assists. His finishing is getting a bit better, as proven by his goal against Everton on Monday night. There's a good set of basic attributes there to work with, and I think Jackson can certainly develop into a good player for us. We're bringing a second striker, and Datro goes on another loan. Do you think we could try a 4-4-2? I mean, maybe. I personally don't know if Pochettino, whoever the manager is going to be at that point in time, will play a 4-4-2. I think a 4-4-2 is not really that in fashion, certainly with the top teams. What's going to happen, Jackson, next season, and where do you think he'll play? Look, Jackson will play down the middle next season, I'm sure, and I'm sure he'll play wide on occasions as well. But with more games and stuff, hopefully, that we're going to have, then there'll be plenty of minutes to go round for him. What else have we got coming? Guys, there's so much to come in. I'll try and get through as much as I can. He doesn't want Chelsea, and we don't want him back. Hopefully, Jacko could have been on probably 10 assists if a few people bagged the chance he created. And this is my point as well with players like Mykhailo Mudryk. People are like, he hasn't got that many assists, but look at how many opportunities he's provided for his teammates that haven't been finished. And if even half of those have been finished, then Mudryk would be very close to double figures for assists this season. There's no doubt about it. But look, Benjamin Sesko, the release clause is attractive. Yeah, sure, it absolutely is. But at the end of the day, for me, it's another risk that is not worth taking. And I just don't think that if he did come in, would he do considerably better than Nicholas Jackson has done in his first season? And Jackson, remember, guys, missed a month of the season with AFCON. So I think it's pretty safe to say right now that having missed a month, Nicholas Jackson could be, on 15, 16 goals this season in all competitions. Drogba got 16 goals in all comps in his first season. Jackson's just 3 behind that. I'm by no means comparing the two as players, but as an interesting benchmark nonetheless. And he's definitely done a lot better. 100%. He's done a lot better than I think many people including myself, expected him to do. I didn't really know what to expect from him, but he's delivered a lot more than a lot of us would have thought. Kingsley Coman, again, more of a touchline winger. I'm not sure that we're looking to bring in wide player necessarily. Good player, like him. Yep, it's a good thing. It's enjoyable to see, but of course, it's not great for the coefficient, meaning that we're going to have to finish minimum of 7th now to get European football. It appears that way. Do you reckon we should keep the same lineup for City? I'm going to get into that. There's a possibility. Yeah, sure. There's definitely a conversation to be had around it. I'll definitely get into the lineup a little bit later on. Nico's XG is kind of there, but the 30 mil signing's done pretty well so far. And he absolutely has. Do you think Sesko will be a good striker? Can we beat City in the FA Cup semi-final? Yes, we can. Do I think Sesko will be a good striker? Yeah, I do. He's got all the attributes there. He's a very talented boy. I just don't know how long it's going to take for him to develop into the striker that a lot of people feel he can. And for me personally, other than Nkunku's not back, other than what was I saying? Enzo's not been rushed. He's had a hernia problem for a while. He missed a few games a while back. Yeah, I don't know. Enzo's not been rushed, but he's back in training. Let's wait and see. I bet he plays Sterling against City. But I'm not sure, a month or so ago, I would have said absolutely. But genuinely, since the Leicester game, Sterling hasn't started a game. It was a sub against Burnley and Man United. He was unused against Sheffield United. He missed the game against Everton because he was ill. I think Poch has seen the light. I really do. I'd be surprised now if Sterling started this game. Liverpool to lose tonight, I would expect so. Even by Liverpool standards, I'd be shocked if they managed to overturn a 3-goal deficit. I really would, particularly away from home. Let me just quickly switch my charger on, people. 2 seconds. Particularly away from home. Because that's so difficult to do. What else have we got going on? They need to improve the clarity with when the injured players will return. Look, again, I understand why the club don't want to provide actual deadlines of when players are going to return, because then those deadlines aren't met, then they get criticised for it. But I also think at the moment the club have gone too far in the opposite direction, where there's just nowhere near enough updates whatsoever about what's going on. But let's move away from the Benjamin Sesko thing. We can quickly talk Evan Ferguson. I don't really know why he's being this serious. Look, he was great last season. He's had an indifferent campaign this season. I'm not sure if he's had injury problems or not. Let me see if this link works so we can... Does this link work? So that we can... No, it doesn't work. Let me just quickly check if this does work. Yeah, Evan Ferguson's being seriously discussed internally at Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man United, according to Ben Jacobs. That's slightly concerning, I must say. We don't need Evan Ferguson. Look, don't get me wrong. I am an Evan Ferguson fan. He was exceptional last season. People to sort of describing him as the next Harry Kane. I understand that, but it's probably a little bit too much too soon. He's had an indifferent campaign this season. I think he's had injury problems. His form's not quite been the same. De Zerbi's not been picking him on a regular basis. João Pedro, who came in from Watford, has done better than him. Evan Ferguson is absolutely a talented boy. There's no doubt about it. I think he's on a new long-term contract at Brighton not so long ago either. They'd want for sure they'd want at least £100 million for him. There's no way, I say there's no way, but surely we wouldn't be stupid enough to spend £100 million on Evan Ferguson. I think he's one of those that you wait another couple of years, see what he does. I don't think he's ready for that step up just yet. I really don't. I don't believe he's ready for that step up yet. To Chelsea, I think he needs to show a bit more for Brighton at this point in time. I think he absolutely needs to show a bit more for Brighton. By the way, guys, 10 subscribers away from 8,500. Let's get there as quickly as possible, people. Get there as quickly as possible. If you're locked in now, you're not subscribed, 10 away from 8.5K. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And please keep smashing that thumbs up button as well, guys. It's free. It takes seconds. And as I said, it really, really helps me out. So please do smash that like button. Let's try and get this towards 100 likes. We're on 55 right now. Let's get this up to 70, 80 likes, people. You lot know what to do. I'd rather focus on our defence instead of buying another young, unproven talent. Yeah, I hear you on that front. I hear you on that front, mate. And we all know what's good. Do you know what I think is going to happen? We all know Mbappe is going to Real Madrid. But I almost feel like it's going to be a Real Madrid PSG final, and PSG are going to win the Champions League, and Mbappe goes to Madrid off the back of beating them in the Champions League final. It sort of feels like the football gods have got that script ready and waiting. Or maybe we get a repeat of the Bayern Dortmund final, and Dortmund win the Champions League under Edin Terzic. Who knows? Maybe Harry Kane gets his hands on club football's biggest prize. Let's wait and see. But yeah, on Evan Ferguson, talented boy, hasn't proven enough for me over a big period of time. Not worth the money that would be quoted. There's better options out there, and yeah, we might be interested in him, but making a move for him would absolutely be the wrong choice at this point in time for Chelsea, and I strongly stand by that. Yes, big up, brother. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, absolutely looking forward to the FA Cup. Yeah, I do think we can win that game. I do think we can. Of course, it's going to be very difficult, but I absolutely think that we have a chance in this game. If we head into this game thinking we've got no chance, there's no point turning up, there's no point going. I'm not like stupid enough to think, we're absolutely, I think we're going to definitely win this game. But we absolutely have got more than a decent chance in my opinion. Kane deserves a trophy. Yeah. Bayern versus Dortmund, and TT will end this spell with another UCL. I mean, there's so many potential storylines at the moment. So many. But yeah, look, Evan Ferguson, it's an absolute no from me. An absolute no from me. But yeah, let's move away from that. One other brief bit of transfer news before we do finally get onto the FA Cup. Newcastle recently sent scouts to watch Conor Gallagher in the 4-3 win against Man United. As the Magpies look to kind of finalise their summer transfer plans. And again, Gallagher, still same situation, guys. Not too much to add on that front. You know what my thoughts and feelings are on the situation. He should be given a new contract based on what he's done this season. He shouldn't be he shouldn't be a regular starter. He should be a squad player. He's more than capable of fulfilling that role. And you need those sorts of players like Gallagher in the squad. You absolutely do. And then what else are we saying here? And then you look at, he's been scattered by Newcastle. Tottenham are potentially interested. And still, the longer days and days go by, and there's still no news on any real concrete conversations over a new deal for Conor Gallagher. And I just think the club would be making a big mistake. We've seen how this plays out in the past, and I just think we'd be making a big mistake in letting him go. But as I've made clear very, very, very many times, that he should not be playing as a number 10 for Chelsea Football Club. If we are a serious establishment and we are serious about what we're doing here, you do not have Conor Gallagher as your as your number 10. Squad player, start some games, play cup games, be an option from the bench. Yeah, you can absolutely fill that role. We've had players like that in the past, when we've had Yuri Yarasik in the Mourinho years, Yuri Yarasik, Alexei Smirtin, Manish, Thiago, these sort of midfield players that weren't viewed as starters every week, but they were squad roles. They give you sort of 15, 20 games a season. But what I'm saying is, Gallagher's been very good for us this season. He should not, if we're going forward, he shouldn't be a starter for us on a regular basis. You cannot tell me that Conor Gallagher should be playing the number 10 role over a fully fit Christopher Nkunku, over a Mudryk, over a Cole Palmer potentially, over maybe a Musiala if he were to come in. If we're serious, Conor Gallagher cannot play as a number 10 week in, week out for Chelsea. In the pivot, he looks good against, I think in the pivot, he can certainly do a job. Yeah, you know, I was keeping him at the football club, but what I'm saying is he should not be starting as a number 10 for the team. That's my only thing. Yeah, Gallagher's never moaned about his playing time. He's never made a fuss about it. He'd be happy to do, I think, whatever role is asked of him. Again, Enzo gets massively disrespected. I think Enzo is a top player. He's obviously been playing through a hernia issue. He's been having a lot of injections before each game, which probably explains why some of his performances in recent weeks haven't been the best. Okay, but after 6, I'm very convinced. Yeah, I think we can. Knowing Gallagher to stay, otherwise we're not going to be finished, but could be. I mean, Loftus-Cheek, I think, has got a lot more talent than Gallagher. But yeah, it could certainly be, a similar type of player. But yeah, look, let's wait and see how this plays out. I've got a feeling I know how this is going to play out, and Gallagher will be sold in the summer. And I don't know where he'll end up going. I just don't see how he would join Tottenham, but maybe he would. Maybe he would. I'm not really too sure on that front. But yeah, what I do know is he absolutely deserves a new contract, no doubts about it. And we need to be getting. Again, I just disagree with that. You know, what are you expecting from Enzo? Like, I thought he was, when he first came in, I thought he was very good under Graham Potter straight away. He was good under Frank Lampard. He's played well at times this season. He's been playing through injury. Yes, some of his performances haven't been great this season, but if people think that Enzo Fernandez is a problem and he's only paying because of the price tag, they're very much, I mean, I respect everyone's opinion, but that for me, that's miles off, absolutely miles off. I couldn't think of anything more wrong in my opinion. If Toon want him and he wants that move, then make sure. Again, swap deals are great in principle, but there's a reason why we never see swap deals happen in football, or you very, very rarely see them happen. It's because the chances of them happening are very, very slim. Chelsea could win a trophy this season and Arsenal win. I think we could. And I think what's clear is that Enzo operates at his best when he's playing that deep-lying role in the midfield. Simple as that. Look, I don't know what people's expectations were, but if your expectations were that these two were going to come in and hit the ground running and form some sort of worldy partnership from the off, then absolutely it's not lived up to expectations. Do I think that Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez are two potential world-class midfielders? Yeah, I do think that. Is it working right now? Have we got the balance right? Are we using them in the right way? I think you could argue no on that front. Do I think that it won't work? No, I absolutely don't think that. Do we need more time for it to work? Yes, unfortunately we do. But there are fundamentally two very good midfield players there. Caicedo's performances have improved a lot over the last few months. I thought he was outstanding against Everton. Again, a lot of his performances aren't getting the praise that they deserve at this point in time. But yeah, he's quietly improved this season. Hopefully next season he'll be even better. That's the reality. But yeah, look, I agree. From what people's expectations were, yeah, sure. you could say that, it's not hit those heights. But is that because they've not done that well, or is that because people's expectations were totally unrealistic? It's probably a combination of the two for me. Again, look, Rice has done well for Arsenal this season, but I think in the long run, Caicedo will prove to be a very good signing. Yes, if I had the choice, I probably would have chosen Declan Rice myself, but ultimately, I'm not disappointed with Caicedo, and I think he'll do very well for us. We absolutely won't get the Champions League, no. Do yellow count? No, yellow cards don't count in the FA Cup, so we're fine. But yeah, look, again, this Gallagher situation, we've seen how it plays out. The pure profit and all that's probably going to strike again. It is what it is. And it's happened before. It will happen again. But I still remain hopeful that maybe we can reach some sort of conclusion on Conor Gallagher. That is what I'm hoping, and he can sign a new contract and stay at the club because he deserves that, and he should be part of the squad, no doubt about it. Right, let's move away from this now, and let's move on to the FA Cup semi-final time. Our record at Wembley is horrendous. Lost our last 6 FA Cup finals. So not 6 FA Cup finals. Lost our last 6 Wembley finals, and our only recent win there was the 2-0 win over Crystal Palace in the 2022 FA Cup semi-final. We haven't got a good record at the National Stadium. We obviously lost the Carling Cup final earlier in the season. So yeah, I absolutely agree. And that's why against Everton, when we had Palmer, Madueke and Mudryk all on the pitch, we looked a lot better. For me, we shouldn't be playing all 3 of them. In the bigger games, I can understand it a little bit more. But against the lesser sides, there is no need for us to be playing all 3 of them. Simple as that. By the way, guys, 71 of you in the building, still only 65 likes. This needs to be up to 70 likes. Thumbs up button, give it a hit. Subscribe if you're new around here. But yeah, guys, get this towards 100 likes. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Bro, we'll be happy seeing Sterling start. Absolutely not. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, always good fun. We'll definitely get Connor on for some more videos, no doubt about it. But yeah, this game's huge. Team news-wise, Levi Colwell's not going to make this one. He had targeted to return. Enzo and Disasi were back in training yesterday. I'm sure we'll find out in the press conference from Pochettino tomorrow what the state of play is with those 2. Will they be in the squad? Will they be involved? Will they be risked and whatnot? Sterling back in training following illness. Other than that, touch wood, at the moment, there are no other injury doubts. This is a huge, huge opportunity, by the way, for Chelsea. I don't think we should underestimate how big an opportunity this is for us. Yes, we've got Man City, but at the same time, we haven't lost to them this season. We caused them problems at Stamford Bridge. We caused them problems at the Etihad. They absolutely wouldn't have wanted to have got us in the draw. And I think we've definitely got opportunities. And winning the FA Cup would be huge for us. We lost 3 FA Cup finals in a row. The first team to ever do that. We don't want that. We've got good history of the FA Cup. It's really important for us. I think it would turn what's been a disappointing season into one that could maybe be considered a good season. And to win a trophy with this new squad is so important as well. That cannot be denied. Cannot be denied how important that is. So yeah, I mean, let's see. Let's see what we can do. It's going to be a tough task, but we've got to take advantage of the fact that City have played 120 minutes on Wednesday night. We're going to be fresher. And look, let's see what we can do. Let's just give it our all. There's no reason as to why we can't go into this game and win and make and make a good go of this. Why can't we make a good go of this? There's no reason why we can't. We've got the quality, we've got the personnel. If Poch sets the team up right, the players perform, how we know they can, how they've performed against City already this season, then there's absolutely no reason why we can't go there and do it. It's going to be a difficult game. We're going to have to take our opportunities. We're going to have to defend heroically, like we defended at the Etihad. Disasi and Cole were absolutely outstanding that day. And we're going to need more of the same. Cole Palmer, hopefully he can continue his good form against his former side. Definitely will have a point to prove. Chelsea have got a point to prove at Wembley. It's been a long time since we've won there. We don't seem to do it often. And this, again, is another huge, huge opportunity, as I said. And I'm looking forward to it. It's exciting. It's really exciting to be back at Wembley. It's always a great day out. Let's see what we do. Let's see what we do. I just feel like we will create chances, no doubt about it. The big question is, will we take them, and what are we going to be like defensively? Again, a boost that we kept our first clean sheet in 13 games against Everton, but City are a level up. The likes of De Bruyne, the likes of Foden, the likes of Haaland, Rodri pops up with goals. The likes of Bernardo Silva, Doku can cause problems. Grealish, there's so many threats all over the pitch of Man City that if we are even, half a percent off on our performance levels, 0.5% off on our defending, then we are absolutely going to be punished. But we absolutely cannot afford to be giving up cheap goals and making any individual errors, because then it is going to be very, very difficult to come back if you give away cheap goals against a side like Man City. City players are tired. We need to win. This is basically our season. I do agree. Would you rather Santos go on another loan or Casadei? Well, out of the two, Casadei, but they should both be going on loan. The inexperienced centre-back with pace to play a higher line. Yeah. Hopefully Cole Palmer. Let's hope so. Maybe Chilwell comes through and makes our left-hand side. Yeah, potentially. Again, that's an option. Players should talk to themselves and take Saturday as a final. I mean, it sort of feels like a final, even though it's not. It does feel like a final. There's a decision to be made there as well. Best time to play Man City. There's never really a good time to play Man City, but yeah, you would say that this is perhaps a better time than other times, given what they've been through in the week. Again, they sold Cole Palmer for a very cheap price, and it's worked out well for us. Sanchez must not start. No, that's a concern for me slightly. I hope he doesn't do that. City will be angry and hungry. Yeah, they absolutely will be. They absolutely will be. That Champions League exit will make them even more determined to finish the season strongly and to win the FA Cup and to obviously win the Premier League as well. Let's dive into sort of the team lineup, team selection, and let's see what we're thinking here. There are some decisions to be made. If Enzo Fernandez is fit, does he start? If Disasi is fit and ready, does he start? Do you go Cucurella or Chilwell at left back? These are the options that we've got. Does Chukwuemeka start? There are options out there, and there are decisions, and potentially difficult decisions that do need to be made. And it's going to be interesting to see what we do and what we go with. By the way, guys, 75 in the building, 74 likes. Come on. Up, up, up. Let's get this to 80 likes, guys. Make sure you're smashing that like button. Keep subscribing. All that good stuff. But yeah, we are on 74 likes. Let's get it to 80. Come on, people. Do your thing. But yeah, obviously in goal, I think, look, I personally would make some changes from maybe 1 or 2 changes from the Everton game. But I can certainly see the thought process behind going for the same lineup. Petrovic in goal is obviously a no-brainer. He's going to have a lot to do, you'd imagine. The likes of Haaland, De Bruyne, all those threats. But look, he's been very good this season since he's come in. He's looked calm, assured. A mistake against Burnley and a mistake against Sheffield United, whilst not ideal, certainly doesn't tarnish his form or his reputation. Petrovic in goal. Obviously, Malo Gusto At right back, no doubt about that. For me at left back, there's an interesting decision to be made. I actually like Cucurella and think he's done pretty well this season. Chilwell obviously returned to fitness and came off the bench late on against Everton on Monday night. Maybe that was with a view to getting in him some minutes and then starting him in this game. He is the vice captain. He's had some minutes under his belt. I would expect that Chilwell would probably start this game, but there is a decision that does need to be made. Personally, for me, there's not an awful lot in it between Chilwell and Cucurella at the moment, but I probably would just give the nod to Chilwell based on the fact that, he's going to offer you a bit more of an outlet going forward than Cucurella is. But then I suppose on the flip side, Cucurella probably offers you a little bit more defensively. So it's kind of difficult in that regard. It is kind of difficult in that regard. But yeah, what else have we got going on here? I'll go Chilwell and Gusto. And then the centre-back pairing is interesting because Chalobah and Thiago Silva have started the last 2 games and done reasonably well. For me, there's no reason to change that back line. But then again, Disasi played very well against Man City at the Etihad. Does he come back in? He's played pretty much every game this season, missed the Everton game. You would probably expect him to come back in. I think it will be Silva and Disasi. I think it will be Silva and Disasi on Saturday. But for me personally, we just kept a clean sheet, first one in 13 games. I'd be sticking with the same lineup. I'd be going Thiago Silva and Chalobah. I'll be sticking the same because I think continuity at the back is really important. You've just kept a clean sheet. Yes, all right, it's against Everton, but at the end of the day, guys, it's a clean sheet, and you want to build that momentum, build that continuity at the back. So that's what I'd be going with as the back line. We know that Moises Caicedo is obviously going to play in midfield. Now, Enzo's back in training. He's obviously going to be assessed before the City game. I don't know whether it's worth putting Enzo Fernandez straight back in. Not from a quality point of view, but what is his fitness like? We know that he's been playing through the pain. He's been having injections before games, and that's clearly affecting him. This is a big game. You need your best players. He is one of those. Is it worth taking the risk starting Fernandez, or do we just stick with Caicedo and Gallagher in there and go a little bit more attacking? What I would say is, for me, I'd personally go Enzo. I would personally put Enzo back in because of what he can give you. But I could certainly understand why people might say bench or not risk him. But I'd go Enzo and Caicedo. We know Conor Gallagher's going to start, but for me personally, I would like to see that Mudryk, Madueke, Palmer situation again. Palmer played centrally on Monday night, and yeah, I think he's better on the right, but that centrally he looks really good. And we can obviously rotate. The front that front three is quite fluid. I'd go Madueke on the right. I think he's done more than enough to warrant another start. I thought he was pretty good on the whole against Everton. And I thought Mudryk played well as well. And up again, I know Kyle Walker's very good. But again, up against City normally play centre-backs in at least one of the fullback areas. With the pace of Mudryk and Madueke, the directness, the one-on-one ability, I think there's absolutely an opportunity to get at City defensively. Yes, they've got good quality, but they're not as good as they have been in recent times defensively. So let's wait and see. But I just thought that Madueke Palmer Mudryk thing was exciting. It's the first time Mudryk and Madueke started together in a long time, and with real touchline winners, that just allowed Palmer to just pick up the ball, get a lot of space centrally, and I thought it actually worked pretty well. And there's no reason for me why we shouldn't look to why we shouldn't look to try this again. In my opinion, there's no reason why we shouldn't look to try it again. But again, let's wait and see on that one. We need Enzo for the Arsenal game. Yeah, I hear that. Yes, big up. He was back in training. He was pictured in training yesterday. So I would presume that there's a chance, providing training today's gone well, training tomorrow goes well. We'll find out in the presser tomorrow before the game. I'd imagine that, there's every chance that Enzo will return. But yeah, I just thought the Mudryk, Palmer, Madueke thing was really exciting. And Nicholas Jackson again has caused Manchester City problems before it. Jackson had a brilliant game at the Etihad, and that for me is the team that I would go with. Do I think Pochettino is going to go with that team? No, I don't. I believe that Disasi will come back in if he's fit and available, and I believe that one of Mudryk or Madueke are going to miss out for Conor Gallagher to play. But other than that, I think that is pretty much what the team is going to be. But it's interesting. I think a lot of us have called for Mudryk and Madueke to start more often. We got it against Everton, and I thought it was pretty good. Palmer again was brilliant. We know that, but the threat of Madueke and Mudryk, it allowed Palmer to find those pockets of space. And this was the first time the three of them had started together this season. I think it's the first time that Mudryk and Madueke had started this season. Touchline wingers in the same game. It worked well. It worked well. There's no denying that. You use those touchline wingers to pin back the opposition fullbacks, and it allows so much more room for Palmer and Jackson to find pockets. And you sort of wonder why it's taken Pochettino so long to work that out. Again, good options on the bench though. Sterling probably be on the bench. I'd say good option, but Sterling on the bench. Obviously, have the likes of Chukwuemeka on the bench as well. I don't think they're going to be blessed with the strongest bench or the best options from the bench, but yeah, let's wait and see, people. Let's wait and see what can happen. But that is the team that I would go with, and I think that can absolutely cause City problems. Yes, we know that City are going to be a huge threat. We know that. We're going to have to be on top of our game. Absolutely, no doubt about it. No doubt about it whatsoever. But yeah, I'm feeling cautiously optimistic on this one. Look, I still think it's going to be a very, very big ask, and I still think the likelihood is we probably will go out. But let's wait and see, guys. Let's wait and see. But that is absolutely the team that I would be going with. And it's an exciting team. There's versatility in this front line here. You can have Jackson dropping deep a little bit. Palmer can take up the false nine if necessary. Madueke could go as a 10. Mudryk could go 10. And there's that versatility there. I'll play Nico on the left, Carney in the 10, and Cole. Mate, Palmer as a false nine does not work. It takes away his effectiveness. And you want your best player playing in his best position. And Palmer is not a false nine. There's times that we've seen him there, he's been really ineffective. And yeah, as I say, it just simply hasn't worked. That's the reality of the situation. Jacko can drop deep. Yeah, wouldn't change the back four for the rest of the season. Fair enough. 7 games to go. How many? I can't take another loss in the. Well, we haven't even got to the final yet. With 7 games left, how many goals do you think Cole Palmer will finish on? He's on 20 Premier League goals. I'd like to think he probably end up. I think he ends up on 24 Premier League goals. Would be my view. I guess for an option and a different profile, but in terms of quality, I would have to disagree on that front. But yeah, guys, that is what I'd be going with. Let me know your score predictions, guys. Score predictions in the chat. What are you saying? Of course, potential for penalties and extra time. I'd kind of forgotten about that to a certain degree, but there is a possibility of penalties and extra time. Do I think this game will be done in 90 minutes? I'm not sure. I think it's gonna go to extra time personally. I'm gonna go 2-1 Chelsea in extra time. That is going to be my bold prediction. 2-1 Chelsea in extra time. But guys, get your score predictions in the chat. I think it'll be a close game. I'd be surprised if one side won by more than a goal. I really would be. What are you people saying? I'm going 2-1 after extra time. We've got 3-2 Chelsea, 2-1 City, 3-1 City. Come on, guys. There's 67 of you in the building. There must be a few more of you that have got some thoughts on what the score is going to be. Let me know, guys. Let me know. But yeah, let's see what happens. 2-1 Chelsea after extra time. All I ask though is that we turn up and give it our all. If we fall short to Manchester City, one of the best teams in the world, best team in England, and we've given it everything and we've given a good account of ourselves, it is what it is and you accept it. The one thing I can't accept is if we turn up and we don't put a performance in and we kind of get rolled over. That's unacceptable. We need to go there, give it our all, and let's just see what happens. But with Cole Palmer and the team and the form he's in, and the exciting players we've got, there's no reason why we potentially can't cause City problems and get a massive win. But let's wait and see what happens. Anyway, guys, I'll be back. I might be back tomorrow, actually, depending on what news there is. Might be back tomorrow, but if not, guys, I'll be back Saturday. There should be a match day vlog coming from Wembley, and of course, there'll be live match reaction coming Saturday night as well. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I'll try and get a video out tomorrow as well, and I'll potentially be live if there's enough news. So big up yourselves, guys. Smash the likes on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well. Less than 10 subscribers away from 8.5K. If we can get there, it'll be fantastic. 8 subscribers away. If you could subscribe on your way out, that'd be fantastic. If you could smash the likes on the way out, that would also be fantastic. Get this as close to 100 likes as possible. Let's hope we'll be celebrating an FA Cup final come Saturday night. But as long as we give it our best, that's all we can ask for. Anyway, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a good Friday if I don't catch you tomorrow. And yeah, up the Chelsea. Let's make it to that FA Cup final. Let's put another dent in City's season. And let's hope the young boys can step up and do the job and show us the obvious talent obvious talent that we know is in the team. Hopefully the gaffer can step up and do his thing. But yeah, smash the likes, guys. Subscribe on your way out. Enjoy the rest of you and have a good Friday tomorrow. Up the Chelsea. Wembley, we're coming. Peace out, people.